All right, so I just wanted to take a few minutes and kind of talk through just the covariation stuff a little bit more. So I know that the biggest thing with the covariation is the language, right? Because that's, oh, sorry, because that's really where we tend to get hung up. And so really the biggest thing is there's kind of two ways I might ask for things. One is looking at what we call rate of change language. And that's the one I would say that we are the most comfortable with, just usually, right? Speeding up, slowing down, keeping a steady pace, constant, like those kinds of things are rate of change language versus amounts of change language. All right, and amounts of change language is related. It's just kind of taking it and taking the rate and breaking it up into its parts. So if we stick with the tried and true example of like distance and time, so let me see, like t is time elapsed. Oops, I can't spell. In seconds, and d is, let's say, distance traveled. We don't have to have time, but I'll just keep it easy. So like, let's say those are our two quantities, then the rate of change is talking about it as like change this whole thing as one kind of thing, right? And the units we'd be using would be like feet per second. As opposed to the amounts of change language, we are taking those and we are pulling those two changes apart into the changes in time and the changes in distance. And so we're not talking about feet per second, really. Now we're talking about seconds and we're talking about feet, and we're doing it together. So obviously these are related. They go together, one informs the other. But the language that we use is going to change a little bit. And we're in pre-calculus, but if you can understand this right here, when it gets to calculus, calculus is all about rate of change. But in terms of rate of change, you need to be able to pull it apart into its pieces in order to really break it down and make sense of things. So really, if you can do this well, then you will be very well set up as calculus for Calc 1, honestly.